Let us learn how to balance chemical equations. It is very important for every chemistry student to know how to balance chemical equations. So now let us delve in. To balance any chemical equation, you need to know the law of conservation of mass, because balance of chemical equations depend on the law of conservation of mass, and that states that matter can neither be destroyed nor created. So you need to know that. So now let me give you an example. Let me say 2 moles of oxygen gas. Let me tell you, this small number, this 2, is actually called the subscript. That shows the number of atoms. So in this particular example, this subscript shows that we have 2 atoms of oxygen. So, and this one, this is the superscript, we call it the mole. It shows the number of moles. So don't forget, in balancing of chemical equations, the only thing that can be altered is the number of moles. We don't deal with the subscript. Don't change the subscript. You don't have the power to change that. You only have the power to alter or to change the number of moles. So now let us continue. So now this is what you are going to do. We are going to balance this particular equation where sodium hydroxide is reacting with sulfuric acid to produce sodium sulfate and water. So now the next thing is to write the individual elements that can be found on the reactant side. So the reactant side must be equal to the product side. So now for the reactant side, we have sodium, we have oxygen, we have hydrogen, and also what else do we have? Oxygen, hydrogen. We also have sulfur, and that's all. So on the product side, we are going to have the same thing: oxygen, hydrogen, and sulfur. So I want to explain in the best way you can understand. So now, how many atoms of sodium do we have on the reactant side? This is the reactant side, the reactants, and this is the products. So you need to make the number of atoms on the reactant side to be equal to the number of atoms on the product side. That is the main aim of balancing any chemical equation. So now we only have 1 atom of sodium here, so you write 1. For here, we have how many atoms of oxygen? We have 1 here, and we have 4 here. You can see 4. So 4 plus 1 is 5. Hydrogen, we have 1, and this is 2. It makes 3. And for sulfur, we only have 1 sulfur atom. 1. So now let us go to the product side. Here we have 2 atoms of sodium. You can see Na2. 2. Oxygen, we have 4 oxygen here and 1 here. That is 4 plus 1, that's 5. And hydrogen, we have 2 hydrogen here. We have 2 hydrogen. And sulfur, we have just 1 sulfur. Just 1 sulfur. So according to this, we can see that the oxygen is balanced and the sulfur is balanced. So our sodium is not balanced and our hydrogen is not balanced. So now what can we do by changing the number of moles here that can make the number of atoms of sodium to be on this reactant side to be equal to the number of atoms on the product side? You can only add something to the reactant. You understand? You can add something to the reactant or the product side, and the only thing you can alter is the number of moles. So if we actually add 2 here, if we add 2 here, the sodium atom here will become 2. That is 2 times 1. There is 1 here, invisible 1. So 2 times 1 is going to give us 2. So automatically we have made the sodium to be balanced by adding 2 moles here. You can only add moles. Don't forget that. So now let us continue. So as you added 2 to this space, it has already affected this oxygen. So this oxygen is no more 1 here. It is already 2. So 2 plus this 4. Now it has turned to 6. This oxygen is no more 5. It is now 6 because you added 2 here and it has affected this. Do you get that? Here, this hydrogen 2 is no more 1. You added 2 here. It has already affected it. It has made it 2. So 2 here and 2 here. That's 4. So this is now 4. Are you getting? So you see that your oxygen is no more balanced and your hydrogen too is not balanced. So let us move to the hydrogen. What can you do to the hydrogen? You see, the hydrogen here is 4. Hydrogen here is only 2. What can you do to this one to make it 4? You can add 2 here. If you add 2 here, the hydrogen here will become what? 2 times 2. 2 times 2 will give you 4. So it is now balanced. And this will also affect this oxygen. Do you get? So if it affects this oxygen, 2 times 1, that will give us 2. So 2. There is also 4 here. 2 plus 4, that's going to give us 6. So wow, you can see sodium on the reactant is 2, Sodium on the product is 2. Oxygen on the reactant is 6. Oxygen on the product is 6. Hydrogen on the reactant is 4. Hydrogen on the product is 4. Sulfur on the reactant is 1. Sulfur on product is 1. So you can see, so this is a balanced chemical equation. So it is now balanced. It is now balanced. I believe this is very, very simple. In balancing of chemical equation, the only thing you just have to do is to alter the number of moles. I'll see you in the next one.